Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about relationships, an intricate dance of emotions, actions, and intentions. Relationships are not about perfection, they are about connection. And for them to flourish, both men and women must bring their best selves to the table. As women, you hold an extraordinary strength within you. Your kindness, resilience, and wisdom can nurture and elevate any relationship. However, it's equally important to know what to avoid so that your relationships remain healthy and fulfilling. Let's explore 9 things women should not do with a man, not as rules, but as reflections of self-respect and mutual respect. When you're in a relationship, it's natural to want to compromise, to give, and to invest in your partner. These are beautiful traits that show the depth of your care and commitment. However, there's a fine line between compromise and losing yourself. Sometimes, in an effort to make things work, women start neglecting their own needs, silencing their voices, and putting their dreams on hold. They start prioritizing their partner's happiness over their own to the extent that they lose sight of their individuality. But here's the truth: a relationship is not about one person shrinking to make the other comfortable. It's about both partners standing tall and growing together. Diminishing your worth often starts subtly. Maybe you let a small comment slide when it hurt you, thinking it wasn't worth the argument. Maybe you started changing the way you dress, talk, or behave because you thought it would please him. Over time, these little concessions can pile up and create a version of you that feels alien. You might find yourself questioning your value, your voice, and your choices. But let me tell you, this love does not demand that you lose yourself. Real love accepts and celebrates you for who you are. If a man truly values you, he will encourage you to chase your dreams, amplify your voice, and embrace your unique identity. He will not ask you to shrink yourself to fit into his world. He will recognize your strength and see you as an equal partner, not someone whose worth depends on what she does for him. And if he doesn't, then the problem is not with you, it's with his inability to see the treasure that you are. Never let anyone make you feel like you are too much or not enough. You are exactly as you should be, and the right person will understand that. Do not apologize for your ambitions, your strength, or your independence. Stand firm in your beliefs, express your opinions, and stay true to your values. The right relationship will only enhance these qualities, not suppress them. Remember, your worth is not measured by how well you can cater to someone else's needs or how much you're willing to sacrifice. It's measured by your ability to stay authentic and maintain self-respect. So, hold your head high, honor your value, and never settle for anything less than a love that sees you, supports you, and cherishes you for the amazing person you are. Your worth is not something to be questioned, negotiated, or diminished ever. It is an intrinsic part of who you are, shaped by your individuality, experiences, and spirit. In relationships, the value you bring should never feel conditional or compromised for the sake of maintaining someone else's approval. Yet many women find themselves often unknowingly dimming their light to keep a relationship intact. This is not a reflection of love, it's a reflection of imbalance, one that should never be sustained. Men who genuinely care about you will never see your strength, ambition, or confidence as a threat. Instead, they will celebrate these qualities, recognizing that your individuality is what drew them to you in the first place. A supportive partner uplifts you, encourages you to pursue your goals, and values your opinions even when they differ from their own. They will not demand you to mold yourself into someone you're not or expect you to prioritize their dreams over your own. Instead, they will walk beside you, valuing your presence and respecting your autonomy. The risk of diminishing your worth goes beyond personal dissatisfaction. It can create a precedent for how others treat you. When you consistently put yourself last or fail to enforce boundaries, it sends a silent message that your needs and feelings are secondary. Over time, this can lead to patterns where you feel unappreciated or even taken advantage of, not because you are inherently less deserving, but because you allowed it. Your worth sets the tone for how others perceive and interact with you, and it's up to you to define and defend it. Choosing to honor your worth doesn't mean being selfish or inflexible. It means being self-aware. It's about recognizing when you're giving too much without receiving the same energy in return. It's about speaking up when something feels wrong, even if it's uncomfortable. And it's about walking away from situations where your value isn't acknowledged, knowing that your happiness and self-respect are worth more than the temporary comfort of staying in a flawed relationship. Ultimately, the person who truly values you will never make you question your worth. They will see your strength as a gift, your dreams as inspiring, and your individuality as beautiful. And most importantly, they will stand beside you knowing that the best relationships are built on mutual respect and shared growth. Hold on to your worth with unwavering confidence. It is your greatest treasure. Your worth is something sacred, something irreplaceable, and it is never to be diminished in the name of love or any relationship. Yet, in the complexities of romantic connections, it's not uncommon for women to find themselves subtly compromising their value. This often doesn't happen all at once. It happens in small, almost invisible steps. A comment brushed off here, a preference sacrificed there, and slowly, without realizing it, you've given away pieces of yourself to maintain harmony. But love that costs your self-respect is not love. It is a shadow of what real partnership should be. When you diminish your worth for a man, you are not only doing a disservice to yourself, but also to the relationship itself. A healthy connection is built on mutual admiration and equality. Your dreams, values, and feelings are just as important as his. When you start putting his needs ahead of your own all the time, you create an imbalance, one that often grows into resentment, dissatisfaction, or emotional exhaustion. Love doesn't ask you to shrink, it asks you to stand tall and bring your authentic self to the table. The right man will never require you to make yourself small to fit into his world. He will celebrate your individuality, admire your strength, and encourage your growth. A supportive partner will see your ambitions as inspiring, not as competition. He will understand that you don't exist to fulfill his needs or validate his existence, but to share your own beautiful journey alongside his. This is why you must never settle for someone who treats your worth as negotiable. Diminishing your worth often begins with good intentions. You want to make your partner happy, you want to avoid conflict, or you think that by giving more, you'll build a stronger bond. But the truth is, love cannot thrive when one person is constantly giving at the expense of their own well-being. Over time, this pattern can lead to feelings of invisibility and being undervalued. It's important to recognize that loving someone does not mean losing yourself in the process. Honoring your worth starts with knowing yourself, your values, your boundaries, and your non-negotiables. It means standing firm in the face of disrespect, speaking up when something doesn't feel right, and walking away from situations where your value isn't recognized. It means embracing your identity unapologetically and refusing to let anyone make you feel too much or not enough. You are not obligated to fit into someone else's expectations. You are only obligated to be true to yourself. Your worth is an integral part of who you are. It's not something that can be given or taken away by anyone else. It's built on your values, dreams, experiences, and everything that makes you unique. Yet, in relationships, it's easy to lose sight of that worth, especially when the desire to love and be loved overrides the recognition of your own needs and boundaries. But diminishing your worth for the sake of a relationship is never the answer. Love that requires you to sacrifice your sense of self is not love, it's dependency, control, or fear disguised as connection. Sometimes the erosion of self-worth happens in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. Perhaps you ignore a dismissive comment, thinking it's not worth addressing. Maybe you start prioritizing his goals and dreams over your own, convincing yourself that it's temporary or necessary for harmony. Or perhaps you find yourself apologizing for your emotions, ideas, or even your success, fearing that asserting yourself might push him away. These small compromises can accumulate over time, leaving you feeling unrecognized, undervalued, and disconnected from the vibrant person you once were. A loving relationship should never ask you to compromise your essence. The right partner will not see your confidence, intelligence, or ambitions as threats, but as strengths that enrich the bond you share. He will want to see you flourish and grow, even if that growth challenges him to step up and grow alongside you. A supportive partner will recognize that your individuality is what makes you extraordinary and will respect the boundaries and priorities that define your self-worth. It's essential to remember that your worth is not tied to how much you can give, sacrifice, or endure in a relationship. Your value doesn't depend on how well you cater to someone else's needs or how seamlessly you fit into their life. Instead, it is rooted in your authenticity, your courage to stand by your principles, and your ability to respect yourself enough to demand respect from others. Honoring your worth requires vigilance and self-awareness. It means recognizing when a situation or behavior undermines your confidence or violates your boundaries. It means having the courage to speak up when something feels wrong and walking away from relationships where your value isn't appreciated. It's about reminding yourself that being alone is far better than being with someone who diminishes your light. True love is never about one partner overshadowing the other. It's about two individuals standing side by side, supporting and celebrating each other. The right person will never make you feel like you need to change who you are to be worthy of their affection. They will see you for all that you are and cherish every part of you. So never let a relationship, no matter how significant, cause you to question your worth. Hold on to your identity with pride and remember that the love you deserve will always honor, uplift, and respect you for the incredible person you are. You are worthy always. Your worth is your foundation. It is not defined by anyone else's opinion, approval, or behavior. It is a reflection of your values, your dreams, your personality, and the light you bring to the world. Yet in relationships, it's not uncommon for women to unknowingly compromise this worth in their pursuit of connection and love. But let me tell you this, no relationship, no matter how important it may seem, should ever come at the expense of your self-respect, dignity, or individuality. When you diminish your worth, it often starts with small sacrifices. Maybe you downplay your achievements to avoid making him feel insecure. Perhaps you set aside your dreams to support his or stay silent when his words hurt you because you want to avoid conflict. These compromises might feel like acts of love in the moment, but over time they become habits that chip away at your confidence and sense of self. It's a slippery slope where you stop recognizing the vibrant, independent person you once were. Love should never demand that you shrink yourself to fit into someone else's world. Real love celebrates your individuality and sees your strength, ambition, and uniqueness as gifts, not threats. The right partner will not only accept but admire your power and confidence. He will cheer you on as you chase your dreams and respect your boundaries, knowing that your happiness and fulfillment are just as important as his own. Diminishing your worth in a relationship can lead to a dangerous cycle of dependency. The more you sacrifice your identity, the more you send a message consciously or unconsciously that your needs are secondary. This creates an imbalance that not only harms you but weakens the relationship itself. A healthy partnership is built on mutual respect and equality, where both people feel valued and heard. It cannot thrive where one person is always giving at the expense of their own well-being. The responsibility to protect your worth begins with you. It means setting boundaries that reflect your values and enforcing them without apology. It means speaking up when something doesn't feel right, even if it's uncomfortable. And it means being willing to walk away from a relationship where your value is not recognized or respected. Staying true to yourself is not selfish, it's necessary. You cannot fully love someone else if you are neglecting the love you owe yourself. Know that honoring your worth is not about arrogance or inflexibility. It's about self-awareness and self-respect. It's about recognizing that you are enough just as you are. And you deserve a partner who sees that too. A man who truly loves and values you will never ask you to compromise your essence. Instead, he will cherish it, nurture it, and encourage you to shine even brighter. So stand firm in your worth. Love yourself fiercely. Protect your individuality. And never settle for a relationship that makes you question your value. The right love will honor you, uplift you, and allow you to thrive as the incredible person you were always meant to be. Your worth is not something to be negotiated, compromised, or diminished for anyone, no matter how much you care about them. It is an inherent part of your being, defined by your character, values, dreams, and everything that makes you uniquely you. Yet, in the pursuit of love and connection, many women find themselves unintentionally suppressing their worth, shrinking themselves to make space for someone else. But true love does not ask you to sacrifice your identity. It celebrates and amplifies it. Diminishing your worth often begins in small, seemingly insignificant ways. Perhaps you ignore behaviors that make you uncomfortable, thinking it's not a big deal. Maybe you prioritize his goals over your own, believing it's temporary or necessary for the relationship to thrive. Over time, these compromises can lead to a troubling pattern. You stop prioritizing your needs, your dreams, and your happiness. Instead, your energy becomes centered on accommodating him, and in doing so, you lose pieces of yourself. This is not love. It's self-neglect masked as devotion. A healthy relationship does not require you to set aside your ambitions, opinions, or individuality. Instead, it thrives on mutual respect and admiration. The right man will never view your strength, independence, or confidence as threats. He will see them as the qualities that make you extraordinary. He will stand beside you, not in competition, but as a partner who supports and uplifts you. His love will not ask you to shrink. It will empower you to grow. When you diminish your worth, it also sets a precedent for how others treat you. People take cues from how you present yourself and what you tolerate. If you continuously put yourself last, ignore your boundaries, or accept disrespect, it sends a message, whether intentional or not, that your needs are less important. This dynamic can lead to feelings of being taken for granted or undervalued, not because you are unworthy, but because you haven't demanded the respect you deserve. To honor your worth, you must first recognize it. Know that your value is not tied to how well you can cater to someone else's desires or how much you're willing to sacrifice. Your worth exists because you exist. It is non-negotiable. Protect it by setting clear boundaries and standing firm in your beliefs. Speak up when something feels wrong, even if it's uncomfortable, and walk away from situations where your worth isn't acknowledged. Self-respect is the foundation of a fulfilling life and a meaningful relationship. Real love does not require you to prove or diminish your worth. It recognizes and cherishes it. The right partner will see you as an equal, someone to admire and respect, not someone to control or overshadow. He will celebrate your successes, encourage your dreams, and value your voice as much as his own. So never settle for a relationship that asks you to be less than who you are. Stand tall in your worth, unapologetically. Love yourself enough to demand the love and respect you deserve. Remember, the best relationships are those where both people can shine brightly together. Your worth is one of the most precious things you carry. An undeniable truth that defines you and sets the tone for how others treat you. It is rooted in your uniqueness, your values, your ambitions, and the essence of who you are. Yet in relationships, there's often a quiet temptation to compromise or suppress this worth to maintain peace, please a partner, or fit into someone else's expectations. But love that requires you to diminish your worth is not love. It is a misunderstanding of what true partnership should be. Diminishing your worth doesn't happen all at once. It starts with small moments, the kind that seem harmless in the moment. You stay silent when something hurts you, convincing yourself it's better to avoid conflict. You put aside your dreams or ambitions to focus on his, promising yourself you'll return to them later. Or you apologize for your feelings, your success, or even your individuality because you fear being too much. Each time you make these compromises, you give away a small piece of yourself. Over time, these little losses add up. leaving you feeling unseen, undervalued, and disconnected from the person you used to be. True love does not require you to shrink. It does not ask you to hide your brilliance or put your needs second. Instead, it should celebrate you for who you are and inspire you to grow even further. The right partner will never see your strength, intelligence, or independence as threats. He will see them as the qualities that make you extraordinary. He will respect your boundaries, encourage your dreams, and value your voice equally to his own. This is the essence of a healthy and fulfilling relationship, a partnership built on mutual respect and admiration. When you allow yourself to diminish your worth, you inadvertently set a precedent. You teach others how to treat you, whether consciously or not. If you consistently prioritize others at the expense of yourself, you send the message that your feelings, boundaries, and needs are secondary. Over time, this imbalance becomes normalized, making it even harder to reclaim your self-respect and demand the treatment you deserve. But reclaim it you must, because a life lived without honoring your worth is a life spent in quiet dissatisfaction. Honoring your worth is about standing firm in your truth. It means knowing who you are and embracing it unapologetically. It's about recognizing that you are enough just as you are strong, capable, and deserving of love and respect. To protect your worth, set boundaries that reflect your values and enforce them with confidence. Speak up when something doesn't feel right, and walk away from situations where your value isn't acknowledged. Doing so isn't selfish, it's necessary. You cannot truly give love to another if you are neglecting the love and respect you owe yourself. The right man will never ask you to choose between being true to yourself and being in a relationship. Instead, he will stand by your side as an equal, admiring the person you are and encouraging you to continue becoming your best self. In this kind of love, your worth will be cherished and celebrated, never questioned or undermined. So stand tall in your value. Love yourself fiercely and refuse to settle for anything less than the respect and appreciation you deserve. Remember, a relationship that honors your worth will not ask you to dim your light, but will allow you to shine even brighter. Your worth is not a question, a debate, or something to be given up for anyone, not even in the name of love. It is the foundation of who you are, shaped by your experiences, passions, strengths, and values. Yet, in relationships, it's easy to fall into patterns of self-sacrifice, mistakenly believing that compromise means giving up parts of yourself. But let me tell you, real love never asks you to diminish your worth. It's not about shrinking, it's about standing tall and being celebrated for all that you are. When you diminish your worth, it rarely happens in dramatic ways. It's often subtle, starting with small sacrifices that seem insignificant. You suppress your feelings to avoid conflict, downplay your achievements to make him feel more comfortable, or adjust your personality to fit his preferences. Over time, these small acts become habits, and suddenly you realize you're not the person you once were. You've given away parts of yourself in the hope of keeping the relationship intact, but in doing so, you've lost touch with your own identity. A loving relationship should never make you feel the need to question your value. A true partner will see your worth and respect it deeply. He will recognize your strengths, admire your independence, and encourage your growth. Instead of asking you to change or diminish yourself, he will appreciate the qualities that make you unique. Real love thrives on equality and mutual respect, not on one person overshadowing or controlling the other. Honoring your worth doesn't mean being rigid or inflexible. It means being true to yourself. It's about knowing your boundaries and enforcing them with kindness but firmness. It's about recognizing when a situation no longer serves you and having the courage to walk away. Loving someone doesn't mean losing yourself. It means sharing your life while staying whole. The man who truly values you will never make you feel like you have to choose between being yourself and being loved. He will respect your opinion, celebrate your successes, and support your dreams. He will appreciate your individuality and understand that a relationship built on mutual respect and equality is the strongest foundation. Your worth is not something that can be diminished unless you allow it. It is unshakable, undeniable, and entirely yours. Protect it fiercely. Love yourself enough to demand the respect and appreciation you deserve. Remember, the right relationship will not ask you to dim your light, but will encourage you to shine even brighter. Stand tall in your worth, for it is the most valuable thing you carry. Your worth is the essence of who you are, a non-negotiable truth that deserves to be honored and respected in every facet of your life, especially in relationships. Yet, in the pursuit of love, it can be easy to lose sight of this. You might find yourself compromising your needs, your values, or your dreams to accommodate someone else's expectations. But love that asks you to diminish your worth is not love. It's a compromise of your essence. And no relationship is worth that price. When you compromise your worth, you inadvertently set a precedent for how you're treated. Accepting disrespect or neglect signals that such behavior is permissible, even if that's not your intention. Over time, this dynamic can lead to imbalance and resentment. But you have the power to break this cycle by setting boundaries that reflect your values and sticking to them. Boundaries are not walls, they are expressions of self-respect that protect your emotional well-being and ensure that your relationships are built on mutual respect. Loving yourself means recognizing that your needs, feelings, and dreams are just as important as anyone else's. It means speaking up when something feels wrong, even if it's uncomfortable. It means walking away from relationships where your worth isn't acknowledged or celebrated. This isn't selfish, it's necessary. Only when you honor your worth can you truly offer your best self to someone else. The right man will never make you feel like you need to change who you are to earn his love. Instead, he will love you for exactly who you are, strengths, flaws, and everything in between. He will encourage you to pursue your passions, stand by you during challenges, and celebrate your victories as if they were his own. This is the kind of love that uplifts and enriches, never one that asks you to compromise your self-respect. So hold your worth close and protect it fiercely. Refuse to settle for anything less than what you deserve. Stand tall in your truth, knowing that the love you seek is one that will honor and amplify your light, not diminish it. You are worthy of a love that respects, uplifts, and cherishes you, and it begins with the love and respect you give yourself. Ladies, your relationships are a reflection of the love and respect you have for yourself. By avoiding these pitfalls, you pave the way for deeper connections, mutual growth, and a love that stands the test of time. Remember, you are deserving of a partner who treasures your presence, values your voice, and respects your essence. Nurture the relationship, but never at the cost of your self-worth. Stay empowered. Stay authentic. And most importantly, stay true to yourself. Thank you